Hello, YouTube. Traffic is not cooperating today, so I might as well make a video. A little rambling video here. I love my country. I love the United States. But sometimes I get really sick of it. And one of the things I get sick of, well, two of the things I get sick of. I get sick of the propaganda we're subjected to. And I get sick of the racism. And, the racism on YouTube is what I'm talking about. And I'll be honest with you, every once in a while I catch myself with a little knee-jerk racism. I don't consider myself a racist. And usually after I think about something, I say, oh, fucking hey, that was wrong. And I have a short story that will show that even somebody that might have racist thoughts sometimes can be a pretty upstanding white man. It's custom in my neighborhood for a few of us every election night, the presidential election, to go to the bar, and we watch the returns there, and we stay there until it's decided. And the first year that Obama won, his first term, I was there, and we watched it. And, I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, and it's pretty much a hillbilly neighborhood, so there's a lot of racism there. And the guy that I sat next to, me and him get along. We're both progressives. I don't like to use the term liberal. I think the term liberal is stupid, because that would mean you would allow all kinds of shit if you were a liberal. And there's plenty of stuff that I would not allow. But anyways, we sat there watching the returns come in, and it became apparent, and I was drunk, by the way, and it became apparent that Obama was going to win by a pretty large margin. We were happy, me and my friend. And I had been hearing, the other people yelling out shit all night long. We were sitting at the bar, and these idiots were sitting at a table behind us. And this guy says something about, let's see how long it is before Obama gets assassinated. And that was it. I had enough. I got up to attack this guy. I yelled something at him, and I had to be restrained to keep from kicking this guy's ass. And he was like, whoa, I'm sorry, I was just kidding, which is what everybody says. I was taking him out of context, The other thing that I was talking about, the propaganda. There's lots of propaganda that, is outright propaganda. And then there's just propaganda by omission. And I guess what I mean by that, I was watching CBC last night. And for those of you that don't live along the northern tier of states, you may not get this channel. It's the Canadian Broadcasting, made famous by Hockey Night in Canada. I love CBC. They have The Nature of Things with David Suzuki. But they had a show on, I'm scrolling through the menu, and they have a show on called The Doc Zone, D-O-C. And I didn't know what it was, but it ends up being a history show. Kind of a stupid history show, because they're sticking little bits of humor in there, and I don't need that, just show me the history. and it was all about the War of 1812. And, you know, it turns out that I don't know all that much about the War of 1812. And I think that's because we kind of got our asses kicked in that war, and we were kind of dickheads to the Canadians. We, like, marched around north of Lake Ontario, burning down cities and shit. And the big thing that I had never heard of in my life was that the British landed 4,500 men near Washington, and these guys marched up the Potomac and pretty much took Washington, D.C. without firing a shot. The irregulars that were charged with defending Washington, they kind of fled the scene, threw their arms down and ran away, and the British had their way with the Capitol. They burnt the fucking White House down. There was nothing but walls standing there. This was in 1814, and I had never heard of this in my life. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is propaganda by omission, is we're all familiar with Joe Louis and Max Schmeling 2, when Joe Louis kicks his ass in the first round. I must have seen that fight a dozen times. It looks to me like there's like a borderline low blow there, and after that Schmeling can't do nothing. But anyways, there was a fight number 1, and if I'm not mistaken, Schmeling outpoints Joe Louis in 12 rounds. I have no idea whether it was a good fight or not, because I've never seen it. I've seen the other one, like I said, a frickin' dozen times. Propaganda by omission. Now, when I was younger, I read about military history. I just devoured it. So, I'm familiar with Max Schmeling's career in the German army. He was a frickin' paratrooper that got dropped onto Crete. And if you're even vaguely familiar with the fighting on Crete, it was a bloody affair. It actually soured Hitler on ever using paratroopers again. The Germans ended up taking Crete, but Schmeling was badly wounded. He was shot like frickin' 6 times. He survived the war. He convalesced for the rest of the war, and after the war became a successful businessman. Joe Louis, not so much. When Joe Louis died, he really didn't have any money. And who do you think paid for Joe Louis's funeral? Max Schmeling is the one that footed the bill. Apparently they had stayed in touch. I don't know how much, but when Max Schmeling learned that Joe Louis had passed away and that he was getting ready to be put into a frickin' cardboard box, Schmeling said, you know what, that ain't right. I'm going to pay for this guy's funeral and give him a good send-off. And I would be willing to bet that a lot of people don't know that story. It's propaganda by omission. The United States certainly could have done something to take care of Joe Louis in his funeral. And I've been getting, I just been getting a lot of this shit because I've been on more like political videos lately than I have the atheism videos. I still watch my atheism stuff and I'm still there commenting, but the fucking idiots that go on these political videos and spout their fucking racism and about all fucking America's so great, I don't know. These people just get to me, and that's where I've been, and that's the kind of mindset that I've been in lately. That's it. I'm gonna sign off.